Phone call gone. So, sorry, whoever that was. You've been preempted. So, we need to begin from a new place in that, and how we look at sensuality, sexuality, and creation. And that it is not a horrible thing. If people want to go to a strip club, let them go to a strip club. It's not a horrible thing. People go, oh my God, those women, they're stripping up there, and that's horrible, and they're nasty, and they probably are doing drugs, and they're probably, you know, having sex with everybody. They're probably prostitutes. When, you know, the majority of them are like girls putting themselves through college or something, because this is how they feel good about it. They feel good about themselves. They are protecting themselves from predators or the drugs or the booze or whatever. They're just merely making enough money so they can get through college. So, and yeah, there is the other aspect of it. But we need to start judging people automatically and going, oh my gosh, you're a stripper, you're horrible. Open relationships. If somebody's having, there are many open relationships that are happening, and a lot of polygamous relationships are coming up now. And if you don't know what polygamous is, it means that you are content with both sex, bisexual, pretty much. So you're having relationships with both sexes, and that's fine too. If that works for you, then stop judging it, because it is not a horrible, nasty thing. It is a beautiful thing. So that's my little treatise on that. So we need to claim our inner fire. We need to claim our inner sensuality, our inner sexuality, and it's what lights you up, what makes you feel good. And don't be ashamed of it. Don't be embarrassed of it, like the women who may be stripping because, you know, they feel good about it. It makes them feel great. It manifests different at different life stages, and it could be different for each person. So let go of those outside expectations, like we were just talking about you're a slut, or you're a bad person, or you're a drug addict, or you're whatever, because you enjoy this. Whatever is true for you right now is great. So if you want to go to the, I don't know, they don't do video stores anymore, which is sad, because we had this conversation one time. Video stores were the best place to go and look at porn movies because they have the funniest titles. Even if you don't get them, just going to read the titles was hilarious. It could make your day. But if that's something that turns you on, you want to watch some porn, get some. If you want to read it, get it. Do whatever turns you on. If you want a doll or a toy or whatever, you want to dress a certain way, or, you know, whatever it is, find what it is that turns you on, embrace it, because that's going to make you feel good. It's going to let that energy free that is so suppressed and has been so suppressed for so long, especially in the States. It's much freer out in Europe or in the other countries because people aren't embarrassed by how they look. They're not embarrassed that they have boy parts and girl parts. That's the way it is. So they're not embarrassed by it. We tend to suppress it. So that energy is always inside of us begging to get out. So let it go. And if that is not the thing, and creating something is more interesting to you, then write a book. Even if this book sucks, who cares? Write the book. Make some jewelry. Do a painting. Go outside and draw something in nature. Whatever it is to get it out. Create a business. Whatever you want to do. Just get that energy out. And share it from a place of empowerment. Don't be embarrassed by it. Whatever your relationship is with the sexual energy and what you would like it to be, I wouldn't go shouting it from the rooftops right away, but let yourself get comfortable with it, own it, and then just be. And you don't have to push it, and you don't have to tell people, oh my God, I've decided I'm going to watch porn. They don't care. Just do what it is that you need to do for yourself. So, when we start to claim our power, whether it is from the energy of creation, or from recalling energy back to us, from letting go, rewriting our stories, letting go of ancestral line problems, remember this power is not over somebody else. It's not power over money. It is not power over possessions. This comes from within. This is our power, our innate power coming out. The energy of creation, that fire. It's a gift to ourselves and to everyone around us to be able to stand in our strength, to resonate with our power and our wisdom, to be able to just be ourselves fully and embrace ourselves, make such an impact on people around us, because they start to go, look, I feel so much coming from this person. I feel so like I want to be their friend. I feel like I want to be around them, because we are who we are, and there's no judgment, there's no comparison, there's no, to the other people. We are just who we are. We allow you to be who you are. So when you claim that strength, that's the kind of energy you start to give off. And if you're looking at power outside of yourself, it's that kind of thing where we think we have to act in a certain way in order to get that power. We have to know certain people in order to be considered powerful. And that is outside power, and that's not always a good thing. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be seeking connection with other people, and that you are obviously always looking to better yourself or better your career. But doing it from a place of groundedness and not a place of need, if that makes sense. We're not grasping to get stuff to us. We're like I am in my power, and I am coming to make this connection because I want to be able to advance my life in some way that's going to be helpful to me, as opposed to I have to be on the top, I have to have all this stuff, I have to have all these possessions, I have to have all this to be somebody. You already are somebody. So remember that. When we misuse power, we're doing strategies. So there are 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4, 4, 5, 4, 4, sorry, I can't count. 4 strategies that we all use to try and control power, or that are misuse of power. One of them is control. So in control, we are trying to fix or control other people. We're trying to fix or control our environment. We're trying to control ourselves innerly and not letting ourselves be who we are. We always think we're right. But the gift of someone that's a controller is that they're visionaries. And they're also leaders, because they do have that need to be in control or to control something. So as I go through these, kind of like think, that sounds like me, or no, that doesn't sound like me, or that sounds a little like me. Distractors. They keep busy all the time. So those are people, squirrels.
I'm like, that's kind of me.
Bounce from project to project. You never get something completely done. You're always like, you got to keep going, because you don't want to deal with what's here. You want to deal with everything out there, because then I don't have to look at this, right? So the gift about that is that you can multitask really well.
Uh-huh.
And you also tend to be very creative, because you're constantly doing stuff. So that's the good part of that. Isolators. Isolators are those people that they're like either physically or emotionally don't want to be around. Whether it's, those people at work that kind of stay to themselves, or if you don't like people touching you, or you'd rather be outside meditating by a tree than inside with your family celebrating Christmas or something. You hide from situations. But there is a gift to it in that people who tend to be isolated have a higher connection to spirit, and they also have a sense of self, because they spend a lot of time with themselves and not with other people. And then the last one is pleasers. Pleasers are those people that are always helping others, always giving of themselves, even sometimes to the point where it's way past where they don't have anything. They're avoiding the things they should be doing because they are giving everything to everybody else. They want to make everybody happy, hence the pleaser. So I will do this because I want you to be happy, even if it makes me feel not happy, but I want to please you. The positive side of that is that pleasers tend to be more sensitive, and they love to be in service. So these 4 strategies are false senses of power. We use them to avoid what's uncomfortable and situations or feelings. So it is possible to have a little bit of each one. It is possible to be 2 and not the other 2. So kind of think about where you fall on that, and how you're going to learn to let your gifts show up, the gift side of it show up, whether it's being in service or being a leader or a visionary or something spiritual, learn to sit when you have uncomfortable feelings and you find yourself in discomfort. Just sit with it and let it happen. Let yourself feel it. Don't block it off. Think about what it is that's triggering that feeling. Because again, remember when we talked about cleaning? This is an opportunity to clean. So when you're feeling that uncomfortable feeling from something that's happening, remember we want to clean it. It's good to have these challenges because it's going to help you grow. I'm moving cards around because I have a lot for this one. I'm almost done. Promise.
No, you're fine. I actually, you know what, it's funny. I actually had something to add to that. Because I literally just recorded a video on the whole social media thing. And now, you know, learning, again, that I have distractor tendencies and isolator tendencies. And what I was noticing now that you were flowing through that, I noticed it before, but now it kind of all comes together. But when I would have those lulls, when I would have those even though I wanted the free space, I wanted the presence, I wanted that unbusyness, when I would get that, it would almost be like this super uncomfortable period in my life, like even if it was just 5 minutes where I felt like I had to be doing something, like I was falling behind or something. But what I would do is I would get on my phone, check my notifications on Facebook, or, you know, just mindlessly scroll through Instagram where I was doing something, nothing productive. But it was filling that gap. And now kind of coming out of that and recognizing it and being aware of it, I'm cutting social media like pretty much totally off so that I can sit in those spaces and just, even if it is uncomfortable for a little while, because eventually that uncomfort will probably be comfortable, and I'll probably look forward to that. But it's interesting to know what your go-tos are, like if you are a distractor or an isolator or whatever, but noticing your patterns and noticing what you go for. Like for me, it was my phone. So now being mindful to put my phone away, cut social media off, cut those distractions kind of off, and just intentionally sit with yourself and just go, okay. Even if it's just like, what do I do now? You're just...
Yeah, and why are you feeling that? When you're feeling that, you're not... That being in that space is like, well, I should be doing something. Well, who told you you should be doing something? What makes you think that you should be doing something? What is triggering that? And then that's something that you can... Now you're doing something because now you're figuring out what that trigger was and going back to clean it. So it's a useful void, because eventually you're going to be doing something. You may not like it, but you're going to be doing something. So you can choose to fight it by continuing the behavior, or you can open to it and gain more internal stability by figuring out what is going on and being able to bring whatever it is that is pulling your energy away from you and bring it back to yourself. And that's kind of odd when you first start getting power back to yourself, because you're kind of like, oh, I have all this power, and I feel freer, I feel more open, I feel more space. I should be feeling this space, I should be doing something, I should be. No, just let yourself get used to it. It's kind of like, you know, the grounding thing. When you start to feel that instability, when you start to feel like, I don't know what I'm doing, ground yourself. Get yourself back into the earth. It's kind of like a tree. So if you have a tree that could be, you know, 25, 50 feet tall, and the root system is only like 4 or 5 feet deep, a big wind comes along, it's going to blow that tree right over. Where a tree that has deep, deep roots into the earth, is allowed to root deep and doesn't have like, you know, concrete or something underneath it like you would see in the city. If it can root deep into the earth, the wind comes along and it's able to bend and sway with the wind but not fall over. So that's what we are kind of like what we do, is we don't root ourselves deep enough. We don't ground ourselves enough. And so when something comes along to kind of shock us, we lose a job, something, we're just like, and we fall over. So this way, with deep grounding, being able to work through everything, think about things, be comfortable with uncomfortable, then you can like begin to know that you're going to be solid and fine. So start reclaiming your energy by grounding and pulling that energy up into you and down from the sky. Start releasing those past issues, whether it's familial, ancestral, or something that's happened to you. Start letting go of it, starting to bring that energy back. Start looking for what lights you up, your inner fire, and start looking at these strategies and starting to release them and find the gift and being able to bring the gift forward. So we like to do experiments, which is kind of fun. So I want you to identify the core strategy that you use most. So, and change it. So controllers, don't fix anything. And don't share your opinions. Distractors, I want you to ground daily and pick one thing to do and complete it all the way through. So if you have something that's been sitting around that you haven't finished yet, pick it up, finish it. Or sit quietly for 5 minutes.
I'm like, I feel like she's talking to me.
People who are isolators, go hug someone. Strike up a conversation with someone. I know it's challenging, but try and stay present and see what happens. People who are pleasers don't help. It's someone, when you're like at the dinner table or someplace and somebody's like, oh, are you done? I'll take your plate. And you're like, oh, no, I'll take it later. That's a pleaser. If someone offers to take your plate, let them take it. So now you're like letting go. Allow people to help and don't help someone else unless they're seriously in need of it. I mean, if somebody needs CPR, for God's sake, help them.
I'm just gonna let you die. Julie told me that.
She said, don't help.
Julie said not to help, so I don't think I should do that.
So keep track of what's happening as you start to work against these things and see what's triggering what's coming up. And give yourself something, to kind of go, oh, there's a pattern. I need to clean this up. Let yourself clean up your agreements. The more energy we can pull back to ourselves, the more energy we can put into ourselves and into living a better life. So I'm good. Your turn.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that was awesome. I got lots of good stuff with that. I always learn something. See, this is the benefit of doing this 3 times. I always learn something new each time. Like, I think I got more out of this time than we did the other 2 times, which is awesome. Okay, so I have your 2 blends that you can work with from Desiree Mangandog's book, I Am Fabulous. So the first one is the Responsibilities blend. Responsibilities. Sometimes the word conjures up negative, heavy emotions. This blend is for you if you feel overburdened by the weight of all your responsibilities. I know all too well the crushing feeling and self-disappointment when not taking care of all of my responsibilities. If you are ready to be free from all that heaviness, then use this blend. It will give you greater perspective on what you actually are responsible for and what you are not. My guess is that you've created a longer list of responsibilities than you should, possibly. It's time to learn to delegate and ask for help. In our Western society, women often take on too much. There is an expectation of having to be the perfect mom, cook every single meal, have the ideal career, keep the house perfectly tidy, homeschool the kids, stay in shape, be the perfect wife, and be perfect at everything. Sounds about right. And get 8 hours of sleep every night. This blend will definitely break down that ridiculous view. So the blends in this blend are fennel, which brings awareness to what your actual responsibilities are. Clary sage will open up your mind to a new way of viewing your life. Cedarwood encourages you to reach out to your community and receive support from others. Thyme releases the frustration associated with having so much to do. Lang Lang brings back the childhood joy and wonder that we all once had. This helps you to live in the present moment and appreciate all the blessings in your life. Lime is another great oil for cleansing frustration. Arbor Vitae helps to release that controlling nature of this is how it has to be done. This oil brings grace and flow to the spirit so that you experience peace. It's a great oil for letting go of the need to be right. Frankincense heightens feelings of peace and serenity. It's a great enhancing oil to Arbor Vitae. You can joyfully take care of your responsibilities and be grateful for them. So that's the Responsibilities blend. And then the other one I have for you is Mayflower's Bloom. Mayflower's Bloom is used when you have come through a dark time. This helps the weary soul see the blossoms of life begin to open again and bring hope to the heart. Life is like a pendulum. There are times of difficulty and times of opportunity. Mayflower's Bloom is an excellent blend to use during the transition time of a difficult opportunity. During the transition time of difficulty to opportunity. You endure only so much hardship before light begins to shine. So the oils in here are geranium, which allows you to trust that goodness is coming. Lavender helps you to relax and receive the beauty that surrounds you. Bergamot is a great regenerating oil for times that you are disheartened. It will also change your perception of reality from the glass being half empty to the glass being half full. You will see the magnificence in seemingly simple moments. Wild orange amplifies the delightful blossoms you see around you. Lang Lang soothes the heart and heals it from betrayal, allowing for openness once again. Heliochrysum removes the pain from traumatic relationships and restores confidence in humanity. Tangerine allows you to take in the sweet scent of the blossoms. Clary Sage provides a clear vision of the future, showing you a brighter path. So those are your 2 blends for Chapter 3, Purifying Your Vessel.
No, that's Chapter 4.
Just kidding. Whatever one we just did. So we're going with Chapter 4, which is Ground Your Being, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which one was this? This was Purifying Your Vessel, right?
Nope.
Which one was this?
Ground Your Being. Remember, we were grounding.
Oh. Well, I must have flip-flopped them. Just kidding. Whatever. All good. Okay, we'll see you guys in the next video. Talk to you later.